Okay, here's the classic moving average trading strategy. Not a system. I've always wondered what's the difference, system, strategy, but I think there is. Or the moving average lifestyle. Because you almost have to really wait for the price to catch up or something to happen. You can't put a trade on supposedly with this system unless you see a signal in the crossover and all that nonsense. Here's the presentation by this what's his name? Oh, the secrets. Yeah. See, when you see the word secrets, you're already kind of triggered. Like I am a little triggered. Like, but that's how this rolls. And so this guy's asking me in the comments, well, what do you think about this guy? Well, what he's saying is, I guess, logical. Some of what he's doing is so retailish in the terms of waiting for confirmation of entry, and look how many subscribers he's got. He's killing it here. Almost 1 million subscribers. People love this shit. Especially they love the title here. And this was 2 years ago. Maybe it doesn't actually work anymore. But he says moving average trading system that actually works. Yeah, the other ones that burns you to death. I just cringe. But I know people love the moving average. I know they love it. So what do they love about it? Well, the thing is that it's so simple. And he's probably using a simple moving average, and that's the way to go. If you're going to go, simple's better. And he's saying the identify, which means it's like a scanner. I can just pick out the. You want to know what the trend is? Hey, buddy, what are you talking? GameStop? Oh, well, let's not pay attention to time frame in the beginning of it. Well, what you want to get in here? What's the going rate? Well, GameStop's starting to. I'm getting a crossover on my 50 over my EMA on the fucking. It's just starting to go bullish, and I put a buy stop up at $300 a share on that GameStop. I'm a little underwater right now. It's $43, but hey, listen, I'm a trend trader. So the trend trader thing, and then he's got the area. So he's taking the 50 EMA and he's saying, people are saying, well, why not a 49 moving average? And that's what you have to say about the minimum wage. Why not just make it $40 an hour? And then he goes, oh, wait a minute. So these kind of filters here, just in the beginning of this strategy, and okay, I mean, not to be impatient, but does anybody have 200 fucking days to wait for the first update on the plot of the fucking 200? No offense. I know there's history that goes back a lot of days, but I want the most recent history would be the one period moving average. Just give me the. Can I just get the prices, please? Oh no, have you seen our wonderful 224 period moving averages? I mean, less trades, but bigger profits. Who's waiting for these setups? So he's going to do the classic entry here.
It's very shallow, very slight, and then continue higher.
Who you calling
Very slight
shallow,
and
buddy?
continue higher. So it's very difficult to trade the pullback when the trend is strong. So this is why I use the 50 period moving average. Third thing, right? I'll talk about the entries, right? How I look to enter.
You have to try to overcome this guy's accent. It's a little brutal, but especially it's cute. The entry. Now here's where it all goes wrong. So I agree that okay, identify the trend. She looks like she's healthy. Okay, man, look crack. She smokes crack on the weekends, but other than that, look at her. She's healthy. Look, she's not overweight. See
This particular trading setup.
This is a setup. The old setup. See, this is Dominion's Dominion trading by Dominion. Welcome to MT4 Dominion server.
I want to share with you a couple of things to look for when we are discussing about entry, but the general idea is that you want to let the market reverse in your favor before you enter the trade.
Now, this is the whole problem with this guy. You want to wait for it to, in other words, it's pulled back to the moving average. You identify the trend, and that's not enough for you to take the entry, which just cracks me up. I mean, like, you're not going to buy a little bit here? So the magic is to scale in. This is why you can buy an area. You've already said you're going to buy an area. So this is just so, like, if you break down what this guy's saying, it's just, it doesn't make sense. It's not engineering. This is like, I almost must say, this is like if you let the liberals trade the market. And obviously they're trading, they're bidding the Bitcoin up. who's ever just people are just the market's moving up because at this point in time you've decided to throw a 200 MA on top of data. It has nothing to do with what's going on right now. If the market is slamming up and down, look at Bitcoin. It's up 1,000, it's down 4,000. And people say, "Oh, should I buy Bitcoin?" I'm like, "Well, what do you think your final target would be?" And if you're going to get in when it's at 50 grand, it's coming up on 50 grand into Monday, into tomorrow. So where do you think this thing's going? Right? I mean, what are you seriously going to ride this thing till what? How big are you in this trade? Like, are you serious? But the people love this stuff. A strategy that actually works. It doesn't. There's no fucking. It might work, but not the way he's doing it. And if you do it the way I was doing it, oh, you just be as a fucking range trader. 80% of the market's fucking ranging. Just deal with it. I mean, 80% of the market's noise, and you people keep coming in with these. Oh, it looks like it has 1 million fucking subscribers because people want to smooth the data out, fit their fucking their dreamland bullshit. Look at even on this fucking thumbnail chart, he gets it wrong. I mean, okay, everything's I get it, but look at this pullback. Are you killing? Are you telling me this? Like, besides, it doesn't matter. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, sure, there's big moves up. Were you in on it? Shit, you could have got in way down at the bottom. I mean, he's finally trading the fucking thing long. What is with these people? I'm sorry, I always get pissed off. Every time I do one of these things, I just get pissed off. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're going to chase it now? You're buying Bitcoin now, right? Well, I put a stop in it, $48,000 stop. This trading warrior girl, I made a comment finally in her video. It's like I couldn't take it. I was like, oh my god, like she's saying, oh, I'm scalping with an 8 pip stop. I'm like, percentage risk of her account. Why? Why are you doing that? Well, that's what you do. See, you take the percentage, 2% of your account. So you put and I wrote scripts like this, but they're actually $5 drops that come. I put in the last video $5 drops. Now that's just hard 5. If your account goes up, you could supposedly to keep the percentage dead on at 2% or whatever this thing is, number you have percent, and then you just sit there and keep putting those in. But why would you put in? So she's like, oh god, they're only giving me a 16-1 leverage. I'm like, what are you even doing? Well, she got funded. It's so cute, but what are you gonna do? I wouldn't do that, but that's not. See, there's not everybody wants to sit there and wake up at 3 a.m. and scalp or trade for 4 hours or get in there and just they don't care. They've got other things in their life, right? I mean, there's other things, and there's another guy I saw watched on YouTube where he's doing okay, he starts off half the show is about this new TV he bought, and he's proven that this is really. Look, see, it says this check was written to me. I'm like, well, nobody cares. I mean, I guess people are tuning in to get some education so they can go off to do their own thing. Or are you going to be the guy that's waiting for the signal service or your Gartley scanners to tell you to buy and sell? And then at that moment, you can look at the chart and go, I don't trust this fucking Gartley shit. I mean, you trust the moving average? So you're going to step into. And some people say, well, can't I just adopt what this guy's doing? I don't even know if he's doing this. He's got to be kidding. He must be making some money with this channel, right? He has to, right? How could this guy possibly? It just doesn't make sense. If you're making money trading, are you doing these channels? Maybe. I am, but I'm not looking for people to buy my Mastering Angry Trading course. I should have that though. Mastering Impatience and Anger while trading. It's like fuck, and it's just so ridiculous. But I'm still pissed off about Dominion systems. Apparently, I'm just so fucking pissed off, and I was screaming last night too. So my voice is all tortured. But I really got excited last night. I had a problem with the bass player I got. But the entry. This is the thing I think that really is the scorcher, and I could never get this right. And I've spent thousands of dollars in education, and I'd go to these seminars. And I'd say to the guy, speaking, and I'd say, "Hey," I'd raise my hand. "Hey, by the way," and I wasn't the only one. A couple of the guys said, uh, "Okay, that's great. We know we should buy. Where do we get in?" Like, oh well. Oof. Okay, you should probably go if you're heterosexual. You're gonna look for a girl. Well, which one do we pick? Well, okay. Well, let me see if I can. Have you seen the internet, son? Let me show you the internet. But I don't know. This is people love this stuff, and you should see the comments in here. People fawning over this guy. Oh, you're such a good guy, and I don't know. He should go to accent school. His accent's too ridiculous.
Then I'll share with you how to put your stop loss, right? So you don't get, stopped out of your trade too early, right? Traders.
Too early. Yeah, wait till later in the day to take you out. Because you know what, dude? I mean, how much? And this is another thing. You think it's a lot of work throwing in orders? I don't think it is. I mean, if you know how to do it, you just put the orders in. Now, manually, yes, it would be a bitch. And you could get a robot. I've got a robot that would throw limits in. I do have that. So I had this robot I could babysit. Somebody sent me the code, and all it does is, I can't get it to do what I want. Somebody could fix it. I can't get it to do what I want. It's called Ticket Launcher. I went into the Hightail. So I was trying to get more organized with the Hightail and make categories and stuff and be like a real, because it is the cloud that I'm going to have to, if something happens and they burned out my house for trading like the trading that market maker stop hunting. So I'm going to go after this guy's stop, basically. So I guess this is the whole reason why everybody loves ICT is because he is the opposite of this guy. He's trading against this guy, right? He's saying, well, the new highs, new lows thing, I mean, I'm going to say it a million times, but you have to be so careful when you're staring at a 5-minute chart and the market keeps going up. You have to look to the left to make sure you're not going into a 5-year high. And after that 5-year high, past that, it's 10 years till the next high. So if you're coming up on a 10-year high, I mean, the last high was 3 years ago. If that makes sense. So, but imagine you're at $150 a share, or whatever it is, Forex, $150 for the pound, $1.50. That thing tips into the window and this was happening on New Zealand dollar. So back when I was doing the trading, New Zealand dollar was at 50 cents. And I looked at it like a stock, and I go, this is probably going to fucking buck. I mean, this go to buck. That's a lot of money. And I kept trading from the long side with my tequila buddy. We were on the American trading platform, and we were trading at pretty, I think, 501 leverage or something. So you have micro lots on their platform, click, 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 and we built these positions, and we were making money. But the market was too volatile. But when it got to the 99 cents to the dollar on New Zealand dollar, I kept saying to him and myself, to myself, this thing tips in that window. We are going to go off like Bitcoin. I mean, if gold takes out 2,000, it might just go to 3,000, 4,000 because it'll fill up that hole real quick. Because people just lose their mind, and they don't know what it's worth, so they just keep overbidding it. Right? There's a chase. It's a mob chase, and then it's like a dog chasing a parked car. It gets or they just at the racetrack, the dog track, they never catch the rabbit. But then there's absolute order and balance at the very climax moments when everybody knows about it, everybody's talking about it, and then you're like, uh-oh, it's the burning match thing. I saw this on the back of a trading magazine or a periodical, they call stocks and commodities in the back of this thing. It's $5. You go to the bookstore and get these things. It was a cool thing in there, actually. I got the indicator for it. It's just like, give me the highs and lows from like the past, whatever. Just really stupid. Stupid look back to that tipping point of, well, when does it become just ridiculous? So it is crazy. Bitcoin has made a new high this weekend. And without regard to the 200 MA, which Bitcoin is technically in an uptrend, but I mean, really, Be careful about the $8,000 pullback that we just had. So these are mind blowing numbers. I mean, maybe not if on a logarithmic chart of Bitcoin, it probably looks a lot more less, a little more tame. But and just getting in. So the British pound, you're making the 60 pips. You're only making 20 on the euro, but the spread is really almost the vol. I look at the spreads on Trader's Way, and if you look at those spreads, it almost tells you, well, that's the ATR. Take that number, inflate it up. Now it is floating, but on average, that spread is kind of telling you, well, just look at the spread on Bitcoin. It's probably like, I don't know, Jesus Christ, it's got to be like $300. I don't know. I don't trade it, but I would never step into a market like that. It'd be just like deciding I'm going to take up some sport because it's popular. It's the latest trend. Oh, did you hear about the best way to make money is, oh, by the time I get there, it's gone. I made that decision a long time ago. I wasn't going to do certain things. I'm not going to spend 8 years in college to take some. When I get out, I'll be gone. Besides, I don't think I could handle the lifestyle there, or just the way people, supposedly are all woke and out of their fucking mind there. But those days are gone. But the stop loss here, and how tight is the stop loss? And I 1%. Even if you split your tickets into quarters, which isn't too much work, you could make more money because then you're going to take that scalp off the table, pay for the spread, pay for your tight stop. You got a wide stop lingering now. Psychologically, it's going to be difficult because now you're going to be a scalper and a swing trader. Like, what the fuck? And to try to make a scalp turn into a swing trade, it's too big of a position. It's unsurvivable with tight stops. I mean, just try it. The small position, what the fuck you care? You got in, like, I just don't get it. In this poor warrior girl, she's doing like 3K. So, babe, put in a 1K on everything. Just put in a 1K of everything. Just get the use of the fact that you got to manage all these tickets. You're just not going to write a hit song. You got to write a bunch of shit songs. You have to have a bunch of garbage. I don't see what these people are with it, but people love it. They love this shit. Show me where to get in. Okay, sorry for the rant, but I just can't take it. I will watch this for the re-education of realizing that I would think, well, of course, there's got to be some way to do this. We're not morons, are we? We put the moving average. There are big moves in that direction, of course, but how long are these going to last? And by the time the 200 MA realizes what the fuck's going on, we're already in a downtrend. I used to laugh. This is before really even thinking about it. I mean, I would just laugh watching. I watched FX, this financial news network before CNBC and all that, and I was like, look at these guys. They're so full of shit. Well, I was in soybeans. Oh, well, it's the weather forecast. What the fuck that shit? If that was true, everybody that thought it was going to rain would go short soybeans, and we'd all be rich, right? And when's the market when are the fundamentals going to catch up? When are your indicators going to catch up? And when's your Fibonacci going to? These are harebrained ideas. When I see the so-called ICT order block guy get out the Fib tool, I'm like, why don't you get out of Garley, dude? Why don't you just put a moving average on it? Because at that point, unless you're using the Fibonacci as a risk tool to say I'm going to risk 1 to make 4, that's what you should go. Forget 618. That's the spread is the 0.38 on the Fib is your spread. Right? If the spread goes to 3 on the pound, it widens up, especially if you're going to hold this stuff past more than 8 hours in the trade. You're going to have to survive the Asian session where the spreads suck. You're locking up margin in some trade. I'm just speaking in terms of if you're going to trade all week, even if you're going to hold stuff over the weekend. So after that price pulse is done, like you see a giant move on the weekly, well, we're probably going to calm down because if the market does a 20% blast, which is supposedly the trend that everybody's making money from because they arbitrarily picked out that, well, there's the trend. 200, we just nailed it. Like, define the area and look at these trigger words. identify, define. I mean, these are good, wholesome things, right? I found out she was a female, define the area of her body, and entry, of course, right? Stop loss. Well, we have a prenuptial.
Tend to get stopped out of the trade and then to see the market continue back in their favor. So I want to share with you a trick, right, that you can use, right? So
Continue back in your favor. Notice that. So we're trying to get in the market. Well, just fucking get in. So just get in a little bit, or you know what? How about this? Buy low, sell high. This is really unique idea. You're not buying a pullback. Just put an order down there. Walk away. Just deal with it.
that doesn't happen to you. And finally, for targets, right, it really depends on whether you're trying to capture a swing in the trade or whether you want to ride the long-term trend. So
Right. So are you scalping it? And I'm going to say the swing is a scalp. And this is where you should have known that before you got in, right? So you had that defined. So that's why I have the different stops and different take profits. And I noticed my equity is different now. It may not, it's subtle, but I've traded with double clicks exclusively on one account, and I noticed that the ratios, the account can only make so much because you can never ride an 80 pip move if your targets are always set to 40 pips with a 20 pip stop, even though, on paper you're doubling your money, but still, right? You have the, you're still gonna only make about 40%. You're not gonna make 100%. You make about 70% because you're gonna have some bad trades in there and you're gonna get kicked out. And the tighter stops are gonna cost you more to ride that move. So on a trend or a swing trade, this guy has to be trading with a 50 pip stop. But if you tell that to somebody that's trading the euro, they'd say that's kind of wide for the euro dollar. And this is all the problems. You can't just take a system, I don't think, and go and run it on, oh, I built this algorithm and this thing's so great. I back tested it on the euro. Yeah, you take it to the pound. The reason why I get butchered there, depending on the entry criteria and all that, and this idea of putting a buy stop, waiting for the market to go to your favor and then chasing it, this time frame and this whole top down. Well, look at the monthlies. Is it an uptrend? Okay, I only look to buy this week. How are you serious? Like, how long are you planning on being in this trade? For 8 hours to make $800 or $8,000? So you can do this Asia to U.S. session moves. You get in Asia, you get out at the end of the day. You ride the whole move through the whole day. Or are you jumping on the 15-minute chart and getting in trades? And you're really quick on the draw. You got your hotkey keyboard. You're able to get enough size to make it worth your while to sit there and babysit it and pull the trigger. Or are you going to sit back and ride, a moderate position? And this is all about your personality. There's really no answer for, is this guy, what he's saying true, and can I just keep building on that great entry I'm getting? And you probably could. I wouldn't be able to do it, but because I just look at the markets as being too vicious, and just there is no respect for the moving average. It doesn't have any respect for price levels, or the thing is that it's really about volatility in the end. If the market is smashing up and down for 100 pips for 2 months, it has no trend, and this is 80% of the market. This is hard to realize. And like, you're looking at the market going, I just spent like $5,000 on this course. I got Gartley pattern scanners. I got no signal. What are you going to do? Why will you stand on the sidelines because, well, I'm just not going to jump in? What, I look like a risk taker to you? What? Yeah, I guess you're a risk. This is the whole problem with it. And you're trying to avoid risk here with all this goofery this guy's doing.
Share with you 2 options that you can apply as well to set as your profit potential or target, if you want to call it. Okay, so now back.
So here I can already see my entry. I mean, I just can see it now. I never could see it before, and I suppose everybody has this revelation at some point. I use my trusty rectangles tools here. But I just look at this capture zone. I just say, my God, even this chart right now, I already know the trade I'm already in. I'm actually long here, and I'm just waiting to scalp something. And I got sell limits up here. It's just to me, it's obvious, but this is the juiciest entry, and it goes along with his trend entry. I got a pack of buy limits down here, and see with a scalp to the floor. It doesn't matter what time frame you're on. I call it the scalp to the floor because you fall through the floor. Because this is going to be my turtle soup terminology here, but this bottom becomes a top, and this is where the sellers are supposed to come in. And there are people trading on this down move. This is their version of. They're like, hey, this isn't a downtrend. Can't you see? I mean, come on, people. Don't be so. What are you triggering me? But I don't know what time frame this is. What is this? The dailies? Palladium futures. Oh man, this is a vicious market. So careful. But see, here's the trap, right? See, if you had sell limits here, these are all auctions, in my opinion. I know this is not going with his moving average thing, but there's so much more money in a short period of time here. So you're only in this trade for 1 day, 2 days. It goes up, or this is a 4-hour chart. It wouldn't matter. It's palladium. See, all markets are the same in the way that there is a window. And this is the daily. I don't think I have the patience to wait for this setup. But look at this thing come up and just trap and bag and just take this all the way down. And the buyers are coming in here. So I know that according to this guy, we'll only take the long trades because see this good run here. I got you, but I'm already in. Okay, I'm in. I'm not waiting for the confirmation. Well, we get we see it go up, we buy here. Why? And this is what I never understood. Like, well, I didn't have enough money back then to say, well, I'll put a buy limit here, one here, walk away, and just call me when it's up here trapping all these guys so it can just rape them. And I'm just saying, it's just a rape scene. The fucking market is just killing people, and this is the stop hunt is this pullback. But it's the limit entry. You're going to build a position in this area. This area between the his entry area window, he's going to claim, we'll see, and I could claim this too. I could write a robot that says only buy in this area. That's great until the market turns and starts to live in that area, and it just blindly takes dumb shit entries. And this is the daily chart. I got plenty of time next week to make money trading. I don't have to wait for my algorithm on it. That's another thing about no nonsense Forex. Why are you on the daily charts? Are you gonna live for another 500 years? Just get it done. Get the fucking thing done. I'm sorry, no patience. I guess when you get old, you just become like, oh my god, look, come on, man, you're killing us. But I'm probably killing other people. They're like, you're just a really mean. But look at this top, become a bottom. I got you, but let's get in here. Let's get this is a daily chart. Let's trade this. Let's trade that. Let's trade every zigzag on here. Why are we waiting for this? Well, okay, he's probably waiting for it to take this out before he gets long. I'm right. So we would be in here, or we buy this trap here, and then scalp to this floor, and you could ride for the engulf. So that is the engulf on the weekly. I'm sure it's a weekly engulf, and people are like, "Oh, I'm bullish. I'm buying." Yeah, you're buying. You're chasing everything here. Not to mention the size you're trading. That'd be just on one size ticket, you just get beat to death. But very. So we just gonna go on to the. What are you gonna do? Let's go. I've never seen this video, so I don't know. This is the. It really works.
Back to the this screen is the charts over here.
We're gonna do shots now.
Let me walk you through what you have learned, right? So first and foremost,
what you've learned.
Do I
He's gonna walk you through. Okay, brace yourself.
In the long-term trend. Is this black line over here? This is the
long-term trend. That's the cutest idea in the world. The tell that to the guy that sold up here and wrote this. He just like all these trades in here. Bing bong, bing bong. I mean, come on, man. Go to the 4-hour chart. Get in something. That's what you got to do with a 200 moving average. Go down to the 5-minute chart for God's sakes. Now, if this is a 5-minute chart, I'm all over it. I agree with this guy totally, but on the daily palladium, is that what we're on here?
The 200 period moving average. The price is above it, so I look to long only.
Yeah, it is. This is April.
Second thing, where is the area of value? I use the 50 period moving average, which is this line over here, this blue line.
Area of value. Well, so just this is just harebrained. Area value is here. I mean, just I don't mean to uh, criticize, but I would say this is an area of value. Okay, this is it. This is the area of value. So is this. Right? These are here's area value. And once we start to crush back into that, I mean, look at how vicious. And this is happening on the markets time frame. Well, actually, got a big fat limit there. And people are like, "Aren't you going to buy here? Can't you see it's going up? I mean, come on, we're going." And here's your pullback, right? Here's your pullback entry. Everybody's like, "Well, let's get on this train, okay? We don't got time for that no nonsense guy entry. We're just going to get in. Like, what do we look like, idiots? We can see a good opportunity. So if it goes below here, here, right? Here's the area of value. Comes in there, and the guy that buys the pullback here because he says, "Oh, you know what? I know what you're doing, but I want a confirmation. I'll wait for the pullback." And this is the golden entry, probably on a 4-hour chart. Comes back to the I'm gonna say 13 moving average. This and it qualifies, right? It's rejected the auction floor. It's up in the fair value here, and we're probably going to get another run. Well, you could have bought that pullback, right? You could have put your stop in. You could have said, "You know what? I got this in the bag. This is going to be the best trade in the world, and we're going to end up here." And you would be so right. You'd be so right. But they would come back and they would stop hunt you. But there's some guy with a limit down here that just, he's like, "Well, if it ever comes down here, call me." And there is the other pullback that your trend traders are going to get on. Well, I mean, those systems are going to work. Let's just say I can already see that the 5-period moving average, or the 20-period moving average on the 4-hour chart would be a great entry. Just by looking at this daily, the consolidation here. So this would be the pullback, and you could draw your first trend line, and people are like, "Oh, look, it's going back up." And like he said, this area here, that's your entry. Only take long trades in here. It could be tough, If you can withstand all of these pullbacks and all this stuff, yeah, in the long run, sure, but your stop can't be here. It has to be way back here, and you're really risking this in the end, right? One ticket. I'm just saying, I'm not going to do that, but like you could do what this guy's doing and all that, blah blah blah. This is my opinion, so to speak. Obviously, I just don't agree. I don't agree with this one ticket lifestyle. You got to be at least in 3 tickets. One for the spread, one for the scalp, one for the trend. One for the swing, one for the trend, one for the. You got to have at least 3 to get some type of. Okay, you know what? Instead of moving your stop to break even on one ticket, which you're just asking to get clobbered, if you keep doing that trade over and over, how much work did you put into that one entry? A lot, because you're in big. I'm supposing, right? Because you want to trade a percentage of your account to do it. But there's got to be a balance between nobody's going to pull the trigger on a nano lot if the server's so slow that it's going to take you 10 minutes to get filled, right? So there's got to be something between that and pulling the trigger at the market. But if you are doing that, scalp, write the market orders. I posted the last video of the market orders. I'll put them up. I'll put them in this one, and just pull the trigger. And it's like you're in. Now what? You're in. Oof. Are you under pressure? You feel pressure? I don't think anybody's not rooting for their trade, but I'm kind of rooting against it partially because I know that they got Dominion running. They're doing decimal vote counting. So I know that everybody knows dead people are voting, right? A certain amount of tolerance for error. So that's no secret. I don't think that's and it can't be different here in this precision. I don't know what this guy's doing, but they love him. He's got almost to 1 million subscribers, and people say, "Well, how dare you criticize this guy?" No, you can have him. It's all yours. I don't stand in the way of this guy. But you got to start somewhere, and this is when you start to ask yourself stuff like, Is that really the food pyramid? Is that a real thing? Should we really be okay? Kellogg's is making the pyramid. You said
Right? You can see that the price, respecting it, right, bounced once, twice, and it came back here a third time again. So at this
this is more bullshit. It's respecting the moving average, dude. It can't see it. It can't see it. What's happening is a structural issue. It just so happens that your girlfriend and my girlfriend met each other on the train years ago, and they're both after me, but and to get for money, but it came back to here because everybody that was making money, see, from your supposed uptrend, they're like, we're done with it. We've had enough. And it's filled this area. It's not, he has no respect for your 50 because it didn't have no respect here. I love how people cherry pick this shit. Look, it's respecting the 50. Oh, yeah, until it did. And I could put a trend line in here. I could put a moving average in here, which would be the 100. And I go, look, just get in here. Why are you fucking around with all that shit? Just get in here. We nailed it. Obviously, right? How about this? Trade the 5-period moving average and just go like this: buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. Sell. A 200 MA on a daily chart. This guy's got to be kidding. Well, we're waiting for a signal, honey. Can you see how much money we got left in the account? We're waiting for a signal on the. I took this Rainier guys course. I don't know. We're down about $100 a month on that. I don't know. Got any money left? It's all good. Okay, let's go on with the mastering moving average crossover trading areas.
point, right? I'm looking for an entry because clearly this market.
You're looking for an entry, dude. How long are you gonna be looking for this entry? This fucked up entry where you got confirmation. Well, we wait for a golf pattern, and then there was this poor guy that had this system. How many people have had this system? And then after we wait for a particular candlestick pattern. If you turn to page 9.5 in your Dominion books, you'll see that this is what you have to wait. And this is where the patience comes in. You talked about patience. You wait 3 weeks for this entry. Okay. I hope this trade works out.
Respects the 50-period moving average, right? This is the area of value, right? This area over here.
The area of value. Man, there's so many areas of value in that chart from a buyer and seller standpoint that it's just mind-boggling that you would just throw these ridiculous moving averages on here. Daily palladium. Have you seen this market? This thing can just, oh my God, it's brutal.
Clear that up, shaded it. So the entry. So what do I look for?
How old is this video? This is like, dude, don't forget, it did go up. I mean, palladium went to 5,000, but you got to see the pullbacks on this. This is January. This is almost 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
The entry. Actually, it's very simple. You can look for simply a higher close in your intended direction, like this candle over here. Okay, that's the most straightforward and simple approach. But if you ask me, right, the best kind of trading setup is where you get a strong price rejection. So maybe the price could come into this level and then it trades lower, only to get rejected and close near the highs somewhere here. If you get this type of strong price rejection, right, you have a better odds of the trade working out. So usually it can be in the form.
See, he just pointed out my entry. I've already got a buy limit down here on this wick, so I bought a little bit at the market. Then I got the buy limits trailing below there, and I would in this market, depending on, let's just imagine it's a 4-hour chart. I'm going to go like this. I've got orders down here that last 12 hours, 8 hours, right here. This whole area here is area of value. So just like this one, if we come back here, we fill up, and there is a scalp to the floor on the dailies, then another smackdown, and this is what I can't tolerate. If I buy here, I got to get out here on something, because if I sit in this trade for 2 weeks and we end up here, even though we're going to go here, I don't have the patience, I don't have the margin to lock up in that trade. I just don't want to do it. I know that if I buy a breach of this area and I get out here on something, I can rebuy this plunge. Also, I know if I wanted to take this turned out to be a pretty profitable trade, to sell this little void up here, counter trend trading again against his giant arbitrary moving averages. Here too, like if you're selling the very tippy top tick on that, top tick Tommy, and then Bablamo, you could get out there and you could scalp it. So in 2 days, trading bigger than him, I can make more money than him in 2 days, and I just keep doing it over and over again on this chart. Because once you start buying here and selling here, and buying here and selling here, selling, buy, sell here. Now, this is where I think we're probably coming in. If you look back on the chart, in fact, you look back, way back on these charts, you're coming into an area of value that is dictated by hard facts. There's no mushy moving averages, and the fact that this is a fresh price back into the fold, back into the structure. But just structure trading is much easier. Do tops become bottoms and always? No, because if this was a if you're cutting into this top become a bottom, it still keeps tanking. Like here, I'm sure there's a top become a bottom before this keeps crushing. Because on that, the momentum of the market on the 4-hour chart is a completely different world. It's just completely different. All the zigzags, there's 6 times as many, 5 times as many zigzags there. If it's 24-hour market, and that's the only cool thing about Forex is you got so much data that you can trade a 4-hour hammer. You can trade the wick on a 4-hour hammer, be out of the trade in 4 hours, and be making the same amount of money holding small positions for 2 weeks. And you don't even have to really even be there for the trade. If you set up the orders properly, it's not the setup of the market, it's you putting the orders in it and then setting them up. And you have to have some kind of I guess it's just work. I mean, you put them in, and now the next time you do it, you say, well, you know what? I got to put a slot in here. I got to do this next time. Because if you just buy a linear sell off, I mean, if you just put them in 10 pips apart all the way down, it comes back up. If you don't load the bottom of it, and to watch it happen may be disturbing because you're like, wow, they just keep going down. Yeah, but you got margin available. So as they're crushing in, maybe you're in 10K, then you're in 20, now you're in 80, now you're in 180, now you're in 500K. Comes off the bottom there, and you're cashing out at 200K. Now you're up on the account, you're underwater on the other tickets, but this is where I suppose the patience would come in. You're going to have to wait 12 hours for the jury to come in the next session. What's going to happen when the U.S. market's open? If the market's that stretched out, that overdone into some zone, okay, well, what's next? I mean, how far can they push it? And I say the mob, the herd, like here, when you see this sell-off in the palladium, you're like, but wait a minute, as you're buying this pullback, aren't you saying to yourself, as you're blowing up your account here, but I'm buying, they told me, buy pullbacks. Oh, you're supposed to wait for the confirmation. Oh, really? You mean the one here where we reject, it has respect for the 50, and I got in here, and I'm like, oh, that didn't work. But you told me to do the other thing, and now look at this. You're the expert, right? This happened last night. Well, you told me to put a compressor on it. Now, not a VCA, optical compressor. So the area of value here gets filled up. But look at all this. Look at the shenanigans here. And here's your bottom become a top. It's all happening in this whole world. And then, but the big picture. Yeah, 200 MA. That's wonderful. It gives me anxiety attack, these 25-period moving average. The only thing that really a cure for if you start to panic. Just tune into these channels here. Watch the moving average actually works.
Bullish.
But look at the thumbs down. You got 300 thumbs down, 9,000 thumbs up, and then people would say, "I'm jealous." Well, hardly. If people found out what I was doing, my system wouldn't even work. So don't. And I got subliminal watermarks, audio watermarks in my systems,
Hammer,
videos,
bullish engulfing pattern, and stuff like that. So
and
usually,
stuff like that. So you had another guy, and we knew it was coming. The bullish engulfing pattern, which is a hammer, so a bullish engulf on a 2-day chart. I mean, on a daily chart, the engulf is on the 2-day chart is the 2-day time frame chart, which isn't one. But if there was, it'd be the hammer, right? The hammer is the fucking engulf. It's just that how late are you gonna wait? How late are you waiting to get in the trade? Just buy low. Just buy low. The market can't see the moving averages. Trust me. There's no market that looks at itself and says, "Do you realize we're at the 50 moving average?"
the stronger the price rejection, right, the greater the chance the market would, reverse back towards the upside. So that is for entries. What about stop loss, right? So stop loss, right, I would say, right, be careful of just putting your stop loss just below the lows because it can get triggered very easily. So
Triggered. I'm triggered watching this shit. So that is it. What he's just describing there is the critical threshold. Are we gonna cave in? Are we starting to sell off? Is this gonna be a beginning of a new trend? I'm sure that question would come up to anybody that's trading this thing. They'd say, well, I did what you said. I see how we rejected this. I got in here. We wrote it here, but we ended up here. I fucking put a stop, and I thought I had plenty of room. And there's so many things that could go wrong. And who are you going to call? And are you going to be one of these people that say, I just follow my rules, and I can't even follow. Well, I'm not going to go out and kill anybody, but I'm not really good with rules. I figure that there's limitations on life as it is. So even if you wanted to be a serial killer, you got to take a nap. Like, you can't do that 24/7. So even those people are kind of forced to behave. And if you just have a real short time frame that you're trying to make money on fluctuations in the market, then why do you? I don't know. It's just, I don't know if this. And then people say, well, about anybody, even ICT. Well, oh, this ICT guy, yeah, but he's selling mentorship. He's the mentor's mentor, by the way. If you're a mentor, sign up. And I think what it is that people find enjoyable about not no nonsense in ICT is their personality. The fact that they have this, I suppose, a sober, sober view with a little bit of an edge. I think ICT a little bit bigger risk taker than no nonsense. So I think it's about risk. How are you a risk taker or not? And people risk all the time driving a car on ice, which we're doing here. And we drive on ice, and just to go somewhere, just to go and out to eat. People want to go out to eat again. It's mind blowing world. But anyways, back to the trading thing. I think it's all connected. So if you're not a risk taker, or you think you can learn yourself out of risk, or you can avoid it. Yeah, that's true. But if you decided to trade in the first place, they'd say, well, don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. Well, nobody can afford to lose money. What a ridiculous thing to say. I mean, who wants to lose any money at all? But it is true that if you accept that you've already lost, now you have no stress. This is another reason why the surrogate, the demo account, is your way of picturing yourself in this kind of loss. Am I okay being down in a drawdown of $1,300 at 3 in the morning when I know the markets are just pounding into this price? I've decided to buy low, and it's going to reverse. In 4 hours from now, I'll be up $5,000, but I'm going to be down $1,100. It's that number, and that's just on that particular style of trading where you're just a day trader. Or are you okay being down? Well, we're down $300 on the palladium trade we got here in some fucking mini contractor. I don't know how you even do it, but hey, we're down $300, and we've been up to 1,000, but we're in for the long haul. We're trend traders, This is we get out the violins, or what that guy said with the we get a banjo out. We're trend traders. That's a whole nother mindset, and those people would never agree with me because they'd be like, "Well, why are you working so hard?" Well, I think it's just less risk, less exposure. If you're a day trader, out by the end of the day, no questions asked, close all open and pending. Some guy I mentioned that he had a script that would, maybe I dropped it. He had a script that was going to close on a particular comment. Yeah, that'd be cool. Actually, the other thing that's really cool at the comments is that if you're really trying to study your own behavior, which I already know that mine's not good, so I don't have to worry. That's why I knew the market orders were not, they were poison to me, so I put the limits in because I'm just too eager to trade. So the market orders, if you had that, you could do analysis and say, look at your market order trading sucks, but I can tell you where it's if if we make it down to that price and you see you're not in big enough, this is when the limits aren't enough. You can't just trade on limits either, I don't think, because somebody was talking about the guy that was trading. So I had another video I made, but I had a problem with the videos, so it ended up being a 42 gigabyte video instead of 5 gigabytes, which is unbelievable because I had to render it in this movie software. What the fuck? It added like what pixels? It's another fucking rabbit hole of insanity. But I just like to kind of rant about what I see, and I got it. You know what? You want to sign up with a mentorship for these people and stuff like that? That's great. I'd rather, I don't know. I did it. Yeah, I went to the courses. I learned about the moving average systems, and I just couldn't find a way to make money. That's all. I mean, I just thought, oh, there's something I'm missing something here. And then when I saw the market go down, and I said, well, if I only had more money, because I got in too big on this first pullback, I know it's in an uptrend according to this trend system. Can I just kind of get more? And then really build this giant position. Well, not giant, but build it bigger. And then when it starts to move in my favor, I'm already out of something, and then I can let it go. So it's getting off that launch pad. It would cost you. And some people do have the ability to keep getting stopped out of a tight stop, knowing that on the fourth try, that will finally go in their favor. But I can't take that. I just cannot take the abuse. I'd rather put the wide stop, small position, hold the drawdown and say, okay, you know what, I see how this is going. And that's going to be a comfort level different for everybody. Because who's jumping in this after they took the Rainier mentorship course? And that's the other thing, graduating from school, they don't teach in college. This is like street stuff. They're going to teach you in college, like how to get a job. Oh, this is all the bullshit so you get a degree. So they won't hire you unless you have a degree. That's the filter. Because if you got a degree, you got half your shit together. But when you get into a real corporate situation, it's completely political, or it's at least gossipy or whatever. It's not. This is not fucking clean. And I suppose that people think the same about trading, but trading is the most objective thing in the world. If you're sitting in front of your monitor, it's just you and the market. And the market doesn't respect anything. It doesn't know you exist. Whereas you can persuade people in a corporate environment. You could kind of like put your elbows on their desk and go, so what are you doing later? And is that all you're doing today? You can't intimidate the market, and you can't just keep throwing orders in there thinking that, well, I can stop the drop if I just buy this. Can't everybody see what I see? That would be my problem. Can't everybody see that this is a buying window? So I get in too early at the market. And I noticed that was the problem. Right off the bat, this is like, oh, okay, look at this. It's down 500 pips in 15 minutes. Let's get in, not realizing that, well, maybe there's some news that came out. And that's the other thing. People will do the calendar. Everybody has another approach. You go on some other Forex channel, the guy's going to break out the calendar and talk about, well, the jobs report's coming out on Thursday, and we're going to wait for that. Everybody's waiting. We're going to wait for that. Before we get in our trade, we don't want, this is my favorite one, is the Empower Trading guy. After NFP or whatever what fuck it was, FOMC. He comes back to the charts and he goes, "Well, I'm glad the market didn't mess up our charts." I mean, seriously. So you've built your whole world around this chart pattern, and you have no backup plan. What kind of guy would, if you want to really be a professional? You'd have to deal. If you own anything, some guy's going to come in and go, "This thing blew up. I lost my arm." Yeah, that shit's going to happen. You're going to blow up, you're going to get stopped out. You're going to blow up an account, whatever. You just go on. Just move on. It's not your system. Well, I mean, so this idea, what's your strategy? The implementation of the strategy. If I were to take this guy's idea that this is an uptrend, and obviously it is, I should just buy the deepest pullbacks to really get extra. And this would be the different kind of confirmation then. It rejects the area, then it comes back up, then it's safe to get in the water. It's never safe to get in the water on any of this shit, whether you're buying or selling. If you're in so large that your stop is going to get hit, and you're going to lose. If the spread's 5 and your stop's 5, you're paying 50% shipping and handling, and you have to be right on that trade. So scalping the guppy. So I talked to a guy out of Britain when we were on the phone on the Skype one day. He's scalping I'm like, you're with real money. This is not a demo. You're scalping the guppy with a 5 pip stop. He goes, yeah, dude, you need fucking help. Like, you know what's going on here. And he says, yeah, I'm kind of up on the day. Wow, but man, you're an amazing trader, even to do that. So this penny wise, dollar foolish, or the I'm going to try to protect myself from risk. So always try to demo, even if you're trading real money. So why would you shift gears? Why would you go to college? You trade a demo, 8 years, you step into some like real prop house with a bunch of politics and start trading, right? Like this warrior girl, it's everybody wants, not everybody, but people want to get funded. They want a prop house. This is the no nonsense crowd. Can't you just show me? Just give me a car that runs, please, and I'll deliver some stuff. I know it makes money. 5%, we're killing it. And but boy, when you see these markets do the shit they do, you're thinking, man, this is fun. Like, it should be fun. It shouldn't be. And then the demo is going to make it fun, right? And you're losing on the demo. Then you feel you're not ready for prime time, but you may never have to trade it. You could just trade demo your whole life. And if that's making you happy, then that's great. And I don't think there is the rules for happiness for that. Supposedly your final goal, right? You make money, then that's going to make you happy. So you made a bunch of money trading, and maybe the act of trading is satisfying, right? You don't have to write a hit album. Not every song you write is a hit song, but you like writing songs. And of course, you're at the mercy there of the market and the trends there. What's the latest kind of trend in music? You're not going to step in it. You're not going to never make money in the music business. And that's another trend following kind of what's the cutting edge and where should I be? And well, you can wait for the market to come to you. That would be, you have a unique voice, you have a disturbing songs you've wrote, and next thing you know, that's in, right? Because dark winter, right? You got the Biden advantage. So people are going to get depressed again, and music business. You can't write a song if you're happy. So that's probably songs are going to get better. Music will get better because of the new regime. We'll see better music, I think, but yeah, it is difficult, and I know a lot of people are coming into trading because they're at home, they're in lockdown. My suggestion is go to my free scripts, open a demo. You're gonna have to enable the MT4 platform to let you trade. Even though the scripts, you got to turn on the expert advisor, all that stuff. But like, I can't go through that, but you can find that out stuff. I mean, it's obviously anybody who's watching my channel, unless it's for my anger, they're like, okay, well, so how do you do this thing? And some guy asked me, well, I put the template list. I'm trying to do it. I'm not good at that, but I do have the indicators and templates. That's a starting point. So you can see there is the bars are in there. I think the bars, and if it's not, well, I'm trying to consolidate it, and make it like a normal thing. So you have like all these categories, indicators, templates, and then you have the trade plans. So there's currently the ones I dropped in the last video is $5 drops. Those actually do have buy stops in it. Those are the original MT4 script that came out 8 years ago, and they stopped releasing it. And it just says buy stop and buy limit. And when you drop that, just right the price, it's either going to be a buy stop or a buy limit very close. It's a single drop. And it has a hard dollar risk. So it's a 50 pip stop on a 1K, and accordingly, 820, 25 pip stop on a 2K, all the way up to, I think, a 13 pip stop. We're risking $5 hard. And then the ratios for exit are that's where the problem is. How many tickets are you going to run? Are you so good at trading you can run a standard lot on a 1 minute chart at 3 o'clock in the morning and get an ICT order block entry? Yeah, you probably could. What if I sleep? What if I don't get up then? What if I have to do something 4 hours from there? I miss it. I'm too drunk, So, well, then I just missed a potential money, but maybe it was a bad trade. Who says that trade's even going to work? And if you don't have a tight spread in your broker, and there's a little blip just before they shoot down 40 pips, and they just nicked your stop, and oh, geez, man, just. Next time I'll get them, but then I guess the revenge trading it depends who you are. You might step in and go, well, fuck that. I mean, now I'm going to buy. And if you do have that ticket ready and you're okay with that, and you have a market order ready on your tablet, and you literally can get in at that moment, it's a different style of trading than sitting back and looking at this and saying, I'll wait 2 weeks to get paid on this trade. So there's that. But I don't know. I'm just saying that. It's a modern world. We got this platform. We can run these things. We can even close all profits. There's a button to close all profits, which if you've built a position and it comes and starts doing golf, when it's done in golfing and it's 5 p.m. on a Friday and you're up 180 pips or 80 pips, just get out. One button, boom, you're out. This is modern world. I mean, everybody's got all these, I got an iPhone. Dude, you're trading manually. What are you calling your broker? Who's calling their broker going, I'd like to go along 13K in the euro dollar. Oh, wait, sir. We'll get a fill. We'll call you back. Okay. 5 minutes. And I call 5 minutes later. Am I in this trade? No, you got a fucking real time terminal. You're looking at the goddamn balance all day long here. I don't know. I am. I go, oh, yeah, look at this fucking thing. Yeah. Let's get in here. All right. Not big enough. Okay. Well, it's just, you got, I don't know. This is halfway through this video. I turned this guy's 5 minutes, and so we missed the intro with all about, how to get out of bed in the morning, and what was it? iMarkets Live. At least he's not iMarkets Live, right? That would be the most kind of shoot from the hip trading.
So what I like to do is to give it some buffer, right? If you identify the swing low, give it some buffer and just put it a distance away from this swing low over here. Okay, it gives your trade more room to breathe, right? And
room to breathe. Well, watch my equity get slammed, go underwater before I get stopped out. There's nothing you get around this. You either put the tight stop in, get stopped out, manage your risk in that manner, or you put a wide stop in and go, you know what? I don't want them to get my stop, but you're going to watch yourself get in a drawdown, right? So what's the difference? You're still losing. It's the only thing you don't have to buy back the spread. So if you put a 40 pip stop in and the spread's 2, that's better logically, because now you're only paying you're paying what, 2% for your commissions.
And you don't
your commissions,
get stopped out.
Commissions are your spreads in these kind of things.
Prematurely. Alright, if you want to learn more, go and search for one of my videos called the how to set a stop loss correctly so you don't get stopped out unnecessarily. Something along that lines, right?
Unnecessarily.
It's on YouTube, right?
There's nothing worse than an unnecessary stop out.
And I go into more details over here. Okay, so with that said, that is for your entry, your stop loss. And what about target? So for target, right, firstly, if you want to take a swing in the market, right, so what is a swing again? So in an uptrend, right, if you want to take a swing is simply going along on the pullback and then capturing this move over here. This one move in the market. right? Whereas a trend following or position trader, they'll try to capture the entire move, right, and only exit when the market shows signs of reversal. So you have to know which approach you're trying to apply, and then use the right technique for the right goals you have. So, for example, let's say you're trying to capture a swing in this market. What you want to do is to identify areas or level where there will be potential selling pressure coming in. So over here, over here,
potential. And then, so what you're saying here is that I just won't take the seller's trade because my bias is long. And yeah, you're going to get out there. Well, logically, you should get out there and go the other way. So that would be the ultimate: is to trade the range in buy and sell, buy and sell. That I think the ultimate traders to have no bias. Hey, looks like we're going up. Looks like we're going into a trap. We're going into new highs. Let's sell that. Let's put some tickets in, and this whole all the ranging that's going on here as we're kind of the market's creeping up here, but there's so much ranging going on. Wouldn't we just want to make that money instead?
you would expect selling pressure to come in because this is a swing high, this is an area of resistance. So it makes sense, right, to set your target profits, right, just before this area. Why don't you want to set it above this area? Right? It's quite simple because why do you want to fight through this obstacle to get to this level, right? This is where sellers could potentially come.
See, this is funny how he talks about fighting that because you do want to do that. Because if you bought here at the 50, if you bought here at the 50, you do want to ride it for the full engulf, don't you? And they say, well, why would you want to fight this area? Yeah, you know there's sellers are coming in there, but if your target really is above this when you bought down here, yeah, you know there's going to be resistance here. Yeah, but they're going to they're going to crush it because if you look way back there, it doesn't mean I would hold the whole position there. That's why if you scaled out to here and maybe it will go there, but you could also watch the pace of the market, and you got all day here to watch this thing. How's it doing? Your sell limits that you have, you're going to cancel those. You're probably not going to even bother getting in until you see it up there because it's a daily chart. But if this is you went to sleep and this is hourly chart and you had sell limits up here, you wake up in the morning and this top does not become a bottom. It doesn't keep going up. It totally engulfs. It crushes back all the way to here. And that's your trade. That's a lot of money. Or that's a nice, clean, fast move. So how long do you want to be in? This is a nice, fast move on this chart. A week. You waited a week. You know, if you say there's sellers here, look at the wick on that. Got it. Just notice that wick. So you can't see the wicks on these candles. And that's the clearinghouse. That's the stop hunt is the wicks. You barely see it. Here's the hammer. You could have waited for the completion of the hammer and then got on the confirmation train here. And I'm sure people did. Oh, it looks like it's finally going up. But don't you really want this price? As you look back in hindsight, and then you discover, well, that if that's true, then it means when the market opens here, I got to put my limits down there and just accept the fact that not all the tickets are going to get filled. How much effort do I have in dropping these orders? Or even right mouse clicking and putting them in, which would be completely fine. You don't need the scripts. Just right mouse click on the chart, and a MetaTrader automatically opens up a buy limit below and a sell limit above. You could trade pure limits in MetaTrader by right mouse clicking on the chart. Above it, it's just automatically going to put a sell limit in for you. Now that we know stops on that, and it'll take profits, and the size will default to the last known trade you did. But you can pluck them off of your iMarkets Live phone. You could put those trades in with $1,000 in the account. My total risk today is $1,000, always $1,000. My account is my stop. There's that trade. That's the Samurai trade. Suli went from. Now he's hardcore trader because he just does it. He doesn't even talk about what he's doing. But apparently when he was trading like a samurai, a true warrior, he would get in there like go all in, whole fucking account, take an account from $1,000 to like $30,000, and then some of them he blew up and some of them he kept, and there's a big difference between that and the trading warrior girl that's got the let's go to the 5 minute, let's put a stop in, let's or this guy the moving average system that really works. Actually works, sorry. Not really. It doesn't really work, but it actually works. Okay, so he's talking about, and just the, I guess the language people use to describe it, you can tell what their fear is.
By putting your target over here, you are making yourself a great disservice, right? By trying to punch through this a wall, to speak, all right? So you want to set your target, right, just before this area, let's say somewhere here, so you have a better chance of getting your order filled.
I say make targets all the way up. Just scale out all the way up, and if you make it to the tippy top, okay, that's great. But I don't know. I wouldn't spend that much time on the palladium futures market. I don't play trade play, but I mean this. These are all questions you have to ask yourself. Market's going to open tonight, Sunday, so coming into the market, next week's going to be crazy. Bitcoin all new highs.
All right, so this is for swing trading. Now, what about trend following? What if you want to ride the long-term trend? How can you go about it, right? So one approach again to do is to reference from this 50-period moving average. This means that you would only exit the trade if this market closes below the 50-period moving average. So you can see that for this instance, right, your swing trade would have gotten you out of the trade, whereas your trend.
Okay, so look what happened there. We come slamming back up into here. That's the scalp. Here comes the trend traders. The volatility dies down, but it's a little too late, I think, to decide you're gonna go bearish there. So look at another scalp here, new highs.
Following trade.
So here's the counter trend trader scalp. New highs pulls back. You got a top become a bottom. Just a wick comes back to here. People get in. Now, this market does go up to like almost 5,000. This goes up to like almost $5,000 later on. After this, and so when you go into the new territory here, you're selling into that every day, and then when you get the dojis here, could you get a pullback to here, or could you keep going up? You don't know. You just don't know. And you'd have to risk that. Like I said, it'd be a 4-hour chart for this. I don't know if this is a 24-hour market in futures, but okay, I got to delete these objects. Start his video again.
Trade, right, would still be in the move. So for trend following trade, right, you would only.
But see, that was the target. It went into that window.
Only exit if the market, let's say, comes down and finally closes below this 50-period moving average. Only then you exit the trade.
This is ridiculous. So he's telling you, if you're a trend trader, you're going to hold up here. Dude, I'm out. I'm out of the whole position, because then I can come back. And I'm very comfortable coming back and saying, I just made so much money. I'm just going to trail buy limits here. And now I'm just going to scalp. Let's go back to the most highest probability trade is to be in the market, for 8 hours and make money on that fluctuation. It can't really, it's hard to say which way. I wouldn't wait this long to get into a trade. That's all. So it's funny, he's going to wait till it hits here, and it probably has to break through there before. This is what they would say on CNBC. Oh, it's a bear market because, 3 months down is a bear market. I'm like, dude, it was a bear. Well, you didn't sell at the top. What, are you nuts? What are you waiting for? Well, we're patient traders. We're disciplined traders. Now you just get out of this. You're not right for this trade room. You got to move on to find your own Discord, buddy.
So these are a couple of techniques that you can use to so-called manage your trade, right?
So-called manage your trade. Oh my God!
It's a swing trade or a trend following trade. Okay, so just one more example to hit the points that I've shared with you, and obviously the examples that I shared, it's a cherry pick.
What happened?
I don't deny it, right? And the reason I
changed instruments.
Purposely cherry pick these charts is because it's much easier for me to illustrate my point. But bear in mind, there will be losing trades, right? This isn't the holy grail.
Look at this inverted hammer up here. So I just want to trade that wick for the scalp. Comes back. Tops are supposed to become. It does not continue. And look at that thing come all the way back. This is the futures FTSE. This is a British stock market or some index, but this is another. This is a perfect top become a bottom, but still the area of value, the fill up. You got your buy limits in here. Scalp. Here comes the trend traders. Now they're going to fill out this area. You got sell limits up here. This is not a lot of fast money. It does come back. So more void forms. We gush through the void. We make new highs. People scalp it. There's always the counter trend scalpers, and there's always the breakout traders are getting in on the dojis, right? Here's the breakout systems kicking in every time the market gets quiet. And that's just, here's the trap under the floor there, and then engulf, and then you're off to the races. All these new highs for this pullback. Doesn't take this out, though. Pretty bullish. This is going along. It's 2 years ago. This is going along with our markets. This is the British FTSE 100 or something. 50, I don't know, fuck index. He's got China on here. I don't know if that's because it's. But this is the argument for trend traders. Look at this big run we got, and it's kind of hard to sell into that because I'm sure this is making all-time highs. But on the 4-hour chart, it's not. There's all sorts of, and you're going to have to go buy. This is why, if you're counter trend trading, you're trend trading. So going against it, I think it's better to be objective. I had this book I bought for like $20 at one of these shows, and it's called. It was written by a floor trader, Zen in the Markets. It's called. And I read it, and I'm like, I don't see a trade in here. I was like, this is bullshit. Now I probably read it and go, oh, I see what he's kind of aiming at. He's just saying that price is price, and I think people hate when people do that. Like, well, it's either going up or down. Well, you can't be that glib. You just can't say stuff like that. Oh, I guess, but it's true. It's a very crude, until you put a moving average on and try to create a narrative or try to make it easy to trade. I just don't think it's going to be easy. You make you feel better, though. That's all you care about, right? It's feelings.
Will be losing trades, right? Don't think that it's 100%, right? There will be losing trades. Be prepared for it, and if you want to trade this strategy, I suggest you demo trade it or forward trade it in the markets first before try to risk any money on the line, because there will be losing trades, right? So this is one big disclaimer that I want to put out. So this is the China A50 market. Again, same thing, right? The price is above this 200 period moving average, so you look to long only. Then I define the area of value, which is the 50 period moving average. Okay, so you can see that it tested once. Let me use this pen tool. Tested once over here. The market.
Anyways, you get my point. I can't take it anymore. So, it just has to fit your lifestyle. I know it sounds cliche, but the markets are going to open tonight, and this there's going to be a move from this Asian Open into London. Now, maybe that's a move you could say, well, it looks like we're going to be here by London. Let's get on the Asian train and ride it into London prices. Or are you going to wait for London to open and see where we're at and say, it looks like an area of value, so to speak, whatever that is, area of entry for me. And then we'll say, okay. And I can see the scalp. But then we got U.S. markets to open. So there's 3 critical times. Asia, Europe opens, and U.S. open. And they're roughly, I guess 6 hours apart there. Let's say Asia, I'll take Asia as 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then 6 hours you got Europe, say 3 a.m. And by 9 o'clock you got U.S. markets. So these 6 hour between each load, and when the U.S. stock market opens, this is the cash markets. This is old school. This is when people are clearing out, coming in and out of the market. There's the most amount of volume. And then there's news events. So people will unload and load positions in anticipation of the news. So whatever that's going on, you're seeing that on your prices. Then you'll see a move until 3 p.m. That move, and then you're coming into Asia again. So there'll be these dramatic moves, and you can on the 4 hour chart, if you know what time it is inside that 4 hour bar, what session it's ending, and this would be typically most Eastern Standard Time charts are going to update at 1 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and you're going to get the 5 p.m. The 4 hour chart, so this 159, and it's pretty crude. You're down for 8 hours into Asia. You can just see the 4 hour chart. Now, you could be down 50 pips, you could be down 150 pips into Asia. And if you look to the left and there's no support, there's just area void, that means that its potential, we're going to dip into that and we can cascade into that. We can violently crash into that. And this is the only time I would run buy stops, and I wouldn't if the news came out and the market was tanking. And I was doing this as an experiment. It's tanking. I'm putting in buy stops the last 15 minutes, and it just keeps going down. I keep putting in buy stops, 30 minute and 15-minute buy stops, because I don't want to get picked up, and it has to come smashing back up. And the idea there is that if I cancel and replace every half hour and 15 minutes, just they automatically die, that I won't get involved in a market that starts to stall out, bumps up a little bit, and then smashes down. It's got to do it has to recover very quickly and be a fake move within 15 minutes to a half hour. And picked up in that, and then there's scalps built into that, so it just comes back out. But that's something you got to babysit, right? If we look at key levels, people talk about key levels coming into Asia. You can place your limits unless you put them in for a week expiration last week. You could have done that too. That might be too risky because if something crazy happens on the weekend, if the market gaps, I'm slightly short the pound right now, but if the market gaps in the other direction, I don't think I'm in a bad size. And in the pound, the weekend trades are dangerous in the pound, but not so much the euro. There's too much liquidity to get a heavy gap on the euro. But with the Bitcoin making new highs, and Bitcoin's just the cutting edge of 24/7 trading or 24/7 liquidity in some kind of instrument. It's not about the price it's going to, it's the fact that people are using it to clear financial transactions on a ledger built by the grassroots people. This is not a government designed transactions. It's not an instrument that the government created. It's just people are like, hey, you know what? I got this. Hey, I got an email here. Okay, let's verify it. And so there's the blockchain. That's kind of unique. And it's going to be fascinating to see what happens here, because I wonder if it does matter that the United States has printed more money and supposedly they're just going to print their way to prosperity, which is impossible. And if that's true, then are the markets going to. But the NASDAQ just made a new high. So I said I don't know if I posted the last video, but I said people think this is going to go down, this is going to go up. And so, but there's going to be these ridiculous prices coming up where people will counter trend trade it. They will take advantage of these ridiculous, unfair prices. I think they're just overdone. I don't know who could afford to get in Bitcoin here with a $10,000 stop and ride it to 100,000. I don't know. Maybe that trades there. I'm not going to do it, and there probably is a guy out there doing it. right now, he probably just went long on the breakout where Bitcoin went up to like historical highs. But anyways, so we'll see what happens with that. But it's coming into kind of a eager to see what happens. Watching the politics of, oh man, what a world! So here we are. This is just it's how it is. I mean, there's no getting around it. Anyways, that's the name of that. That's the name of that tune, as I say. We'll see what happens.